The journey from brilliant idea to billion-dollar valuation is as varied as there are trailblazers forging the way. Bold advances and brave strategies for scaling business are shared by the world's top innovators, disruptors, and visionaries here on the Integrate and Ignite Marketing Podcast with your host, Lori Jones.
When Tony Drockton started Hammitt Bags in 2008, the company was almost immediately successful in California and online. Not surprisingly, the brand has grown dramatically over the years, in part because I can't seem to get enough of these amazing bags and have quite a collection of my own. How Tony scaled the brand has been deliberate and smart. This episode is a masterclass in how the visionary kept product integrity and the brand's key tenets front and center throughout its growth. Tune in and you will learn why he appreciates and learns from his failures, how he innovated product design, company culture, product mix, a unique approach to crowdfunding and marketing awareness to ensure that this one-time startup e-commerce business would evolve into the iconic brand that it is today. Welcome to the Integrate and Ignite podcast. I am so excited to have one of my dear friends and fashionista on the show, Tony Drockton. Welcome.
Welcome. Let's get this going, Laurie.
I am so excited to chat. This is your encore interview on the show. I know we interviewed you from NetSuite, from the show years and years and years ago. And I'm so excited to have you back because, well, I had one Hammitt bag at the time, and now I have like way over 20. So you have totally created a bad thing for me. But you cannot have enough Hammitt bags, which is what we're going to talk about today, the scaling behind the business, everything that has happened since then. Before we go to some of the nuts and bolts, tell us a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey and what really led you to starting one of the premier handbag brands in the nation and world, dare I say.
Well, before I go there, thanks for bringing me back. It's an honor to be back on this show for the second time, 2018, Sweet World. It was great to go face to face. And now here we are with great technology. We're still face to face, aren't we?
Thank goodness, kind of. Right. Yeah. It's better than being, it's not better than being in the same room together, but it works. It works.
And that leads right into my journey, right? So my entrepreneurial journey, after moving out from Ohio, I went up and down through a couple industries, all of which have helped me be successful over my 15-year period in fashion, from learning construction, literally, to residential, commercial, to finance, and then even digital advertising and the internet. All of those experiences led me up to figure out that I wanted to go with my passion, but I also wanted it to be financially successful. And so 15 years ago, I jumped right into this luxury handbag space, and it was not successful at first.
Well, but what led you, construction, what led you to luxury handbags?
You know what it was? I kept waking up, no matter what happened to me financially, and thinking, just didn't feel it.
Yeah.
The love wasn't there.
You didn't love the business. There. Yeah.
And, but my personal interests of art and architecture and design, they were these two separate lives. So I felt these boom, boom. And I said, can I merge the two together? And so I really put together a hit list, a Tony Robbins style list of all the things I wanted out of my next career. Mm-hmm. And another list of the unacceptables. If they were part of that move, I wouldn't do. And fashion fit. It gave me all the things I wanted out of a career, a lifetime career. I could travel. I could build something really special, people I have passion around, and nothing on the other side of the list, which were part of my other businesses. So I jumped in full force here in Southern California. And we've just been each year slowly building it to the point where today we're ready to scale. We're ready to go to the next level. And that's what I want to talk about with you.
Well, I tell you, I love it. And I am such a brand loyalist. Like I said, I have many bags. My daughters have many bags. And I get so excited. The first time that I was walking in, it was a Macy's or a Nordstrom. And I was in Vegas for a trade show. And I'm walking through the show and there's a whole display on Hammitt. And I was like, yes, Tony, way to go. I mean, it was just because you started out e-commerce, and talk to us a little bit about how the brand has evolved. And a lot of great startup brands start out e-commerce, and then they can evolve to something more experiential and in-store. And by the way, I also was in Breckenridge recently, and I went for girls' weekend. One of my girlfriends had not had a Hammitt yet. We saw one in this boutique in Breckenridge, Colorado. I'm like, Lisa, you have to get it. You have to buy it. So she bought it right then and there.
Great. Well,
we're going to talk about loyalists in a minute, but first of all, let's talk about where you were and where you're going.
The power of the referral, right? The power of the referral and the power of associating. It's like when you buy a car, a model car, and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. It confirms that you made a great choice, didn't it?
That's right.
So by seeing us in Breckenridge and seeing us in stores, it's like, listen, I know Tony, and I think it's a great brand, but also I'm glad that I carry one around.
Yeah.
That's an important connection right there. And
it
in
really
building
is.
this brand, the 15 years ago, even though we had a great tech stack, even though we were able to sell direct, we figured out very quickly we had to get into the specialty stores. So we built a strong base there. Then we figured out we're ready to go to the department stores and the majors. So we built a second layer there. We layered on top of that a very strong direct-to-consumer push that also included now 3 of our own stores right here in Southern California. And then we went beyond that and we started distributing. We're in the Army, we're in the Navy, and we even have a corporate markets division to allow people to purchase in bulk to give to their incentives, executives.
I love it.
So that's really that pyramid of distribution that's allowed us to go strong. And what we found is there was a time where it was direct to consumer. And then there was a time where it was wholesale only. Then people said this omni-channel. Well, the new term is really unified commerce.
Right.
But that's not a new term for Hammitt, because everything that we did was all about unifying the experience with the customer, no matter where they encountered Hammitt. So if they were in that Breckenridge boutique, that associate on the floor, they not only knew our brand story, but they trusted that the relationship they had with that individual customer, their customer, would not be violated, but would actually be enhanced by introducing them to Hammitt. So what does that look like? Pretty simple. Brand integrity, product integrity. Okay. What is brand integrity, right?
Right.
Right. The brand is the most important thing out there, right? You got to take care of it. The product always has to be the same, whether it's in that boutique, whether it's at the major. If you have brand integrity and you have product integrity, what do you get?
Well, you get lifetime customers and repeat referrals, and you, Lisa, you have to buy this bag. You can't walk away from it moments. I mean,
unless you're missing that third piece, the price integrity.
Right.
And this is why I tell people, you can have the first two, but if people are constantly looking for a better deal for the product, you're not going to get the holy grail, which is that long-term relationship with the customer. So we reinforce that relationship with price integrity. So the associate, whether they're in a wholesale account or whether it's our concierge desk, they know that that customer is going to feel really good about the purchase years after, because it's not only going to have been purchased at the same price, but it's going to maintain the long-term value because of the price integrity, product integrity, and the brand integrity.
Lifetime value of a customer. I mean, yours has to be massive. And I mean, it really has to. I mean, and you've been able to introduce some really great bags that have augmented. I mean, I always buy the crossbodies, as you know. I've got many of those. I just bought my first tote a couple of weeks ago after you and I spoke.
Oh yeah.
And of course, I got a crossbody to match it because that's what fashionistas do, right?
Yeah,
but
of course.
But so as you've grown the business, you've grown loyalty, you've also met customer need. Yeah. So, the need of some product differentiation is one of those core tenets. Take us to the war room. You do a lot of the product design yourself. Take us to those discussions that you've had with your team of designers on, augmenting the style, the size, the mix of materials, all those sort of things that become so important to maintaining a customer.
The secret in my journey over the 15 years, Lori, is in the beginning, you do it all. You wear every hat, they say.
Right.
And then you hire great people to start taking on some of those responsibilities. So specifically in design, we have an amazing design team right now where I'm able to really stay out of that individual.
Good for you.
Detail,
that's great.
But I'm able to see long-term opportunities. And then when I bring them to them, So for example, our clear bags, when they changed the laws and said you have to bring a clear bag into all of the stadiums, that was, I sat down and said, listen, we need to design into this. And it's our #1 in total units sold of anything.
Is it really?
Clear, by far.
Wow. Because you've added fashion to clear.
Right.
I mean, that's what you've done.
There was a space, that white space between, let's face it, most of the clear bags they're not great.
No, they're not.
And so we used all the same hardware, leather details, everything, except the body was clear so it could get you in. You're spending a couple $100 or more for a ticket for an event. You want to have a bag that says, like, listen, I'm proud of this.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing with backpacks. You know, go to the airport, travel, everyone has their backpack, right? So we've designed into that trend. But my design team, what they do is they do the heavy lift now. They look at trends going forward. They take a look at the data backward. They combine the two so that they make sure that they know exactly what the customer is going to be looking for. So for example, we're already designing into the first half of next year.
Right.
And so they're thinking that far ahead. So they have to merge what happened in the past couple of years, what's going on now, and more importantly, when this product comes out next year, is it going to be relevant? The secret to that is to have a core set of design principles in everything we do. So we say each Hammitt is wrapped with beautiful soft leather. It's got that signature rivet detail, so you can see it from across the street. The inside, beautiful red suede, and the pockets, external cell phone pockets, it's so functional that once you use it, it's hard to go back to any other handbag because of all of the combination. Now, the look, the silhouettes, where the rivets are placed, all of that, that's the things they design into each season. And then what color is the leather? What are the extra treatments? What are the additional limited edition features? All there right now. This is where they're killing it.
And the customer centricity that you're really explaining and talking about is key. And, you know, I hate to have to dig for stuff. And a Hammitt bag, no matter the size, if it's a tote or a crossbody or a, you know, a over the shoulder, whatever it might be, you don't have to dig because you've built the bag in such a way that you've got the pockets where, and your phone can go directly in the back no matter what.
Right.
So customer centricity, meeting customer demand, meeting customer need, it's how you meet customer demand. How have you maintained the loyalty with customers, and how do you study what the customer needs so that you can continue to grow and maintain that and get, you know, a crazy person that you've got customers that have 200 bags, so how do you, and it's that customer centricity that gets you there.
Ready? I'm going to drop a term I don't think has been dropped.
Ooh, I like that.
Hammitt, we are a performance luxury brand.
Yeah.
We are a performance luxury brand. What does that look like? Well, performance has been associated with sports, athletics, some other things. It has never been associated with true luxury brands. Why? Because people in the past thought they don't go together, right? You got your performance items, then you have this luxury product that you wear for a once in a while event. That is not what a Hammitt person does, okay? Our bags perform over multiple lifetimes. They're hand down as family heirlooms, but they also perform in functionality for everybody that uses them every day. You can have a luxury product that you really, really want to wear all the time and have it also provide all the functionality of everything else that you used to have to wear because you needed that. So that's how we do it. That's how the customer centricity really fills in those blank spots for where we're going as a company. And when we listen to the customers, we find they are addicted to the functionality.
Yeah. Well, and I'm, you know, that person, I'm that lifetime value customer that, you know, and I'm building my minions that are going to follow too.
I know I threw you off because we didn't talk about performance luxury, but
but I love it. But we talked about customer centricity, and you love the letter C at Hammitt. You have a incredible, you know, mantra that really ties in customer craftsmanship and then community. And talk to us a little bit about that. And then the fourth C that you are now moving into the marketplace.
Don't say.
I'm not, the tease is there for you to follow up on it.
you know, the basis of our brand is truly those 3 C's. You know, it's all about that craftsmanship. To me now, though, that's table stakes. If you really want to hit that luxury customer, you got to have the best craftsmanship. We already talked about the product from that.
Right.
Now the customer, what is a customer to us, right? They're the center of our universe, right? Beyond our employee base that serves them. So we make sure the customers become raving fans, right? And what does that do when you have the two, great craftsmanship and amazing customers? You build a community around the brand, right? So our community are the people that love to talk about it. It's you in a boutique saying you need to get this bag, right?
Right.
If you nail all 3 over time, you become collectible. So the collectability of a brand is nothing that you can't design it into it. You have to really, over the long haul, you have to build that goodwill up with customers that you become collectible.
Right.
And anyone listening to this, we all collect something, whether it's friendships,
Hammitt bags,
right? Whether it's a wonderful watch,
teacups,
a Hammitt bag, right? So the collectability, it's the holy grail of all brands, right?
Yeah, it really
it's what
is.
those European fashion houses have known for 100 years, is they're really focused on multiple lifetimes so that they can become collectible.
Yeah. You know, something I do, you know, talking about product extensions, and you really have increased the product line. It's massive today compared to where it was. But one thing that I have done with many of my Hammits is I bought shoes that match the bag.
Yeah. Okay.
So is there, you know, I don't need to put you on the spot or anything like that, but
Trigger warning.
Is there anything in the future regarding product extension with little things that fit on ladies' feet?
Well, before we go into the future on the product extension, let's do a back to the future.
Oh, I like it.
So back to the future, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, we thought we were ready. Footwear. Handbags are great. Let's jump into footwear, right?
Right.
You know, failing forward is a term I love. And so we jumped right in. We thought, well, we'll just do sandals. We brought them out and nothing.
Really?
Literally nothing. No, they didn't sell through. We put them in about 100 of our specialties and our department stores. We put them online. It was just the wrong product, probably
at the wrong time.
Price.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it was the wrong time.
Yeah.
We were not ready to move into footwear. So that stung a little bit, but I carried that forward every time I thought we were ready to add another extension. So that was one of my great lessons in order now, when you say what's on the roadmap for the next 10 years, we absolutely feel we have some product extensions in the brand, but we are very cognizant of the fact that we'll only do them when we're completely ready. And to give you an example, you know, Lululemon, how big were they before they finally launched their own footwear line, which is just recently, right? And they tested with a brand for years in their stores to make sure they could learn and learn and learn. I like to look towards other successful brands that I admire for those lessons and say to myself, instead of going into a whole new category, we've iterated with the crossbody, with small leather goods. Most recently with a higher end price bag, our Allen puts us in the $1,000 price point. So we're going to stay in that area for a while, as long as we can, before we jump into another category.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's smart. And, you know, you talk about, you know, failing fast, and every business owner out there, any visionary that might even be with an enterprise company that's talking it over, we talk about our failures and we talk about how it helped us to pivot, to grow, to not do that again, or realize that it was the wrong time. What do you have to share or say to the individuals listening today about failure and the fact that it can be a very good thing?
If you're listening, I want to be speaking to you as an individual. So as an individual, my pride and my ego kept me from acknowledging my failures for a long time, Laurie. And what I did is I found I kept repeating them. So when I jumped into the fashion industry, what I started to do is really not just celebrate my own failures, but celebrate those small failures within the organization so that people could grow. And I started owning them and talking about them. It was, I call it failure therapy. So what I would say is really look hard at what hasn't worked and ask people around you what they think, and listen, really listen and learn from that. So what I've learned from the footwear failure was we weren't ready. Our first retail store, we did our first one in Las Vegas, way before with the 3 that we have now. Before the footwear, brand new center, beautiful, great store, opened up next to Rimowa, great brands, right on the strip. Crickets.
Really?
Nothing. I learned wrong location. Brand wasn't ready. The wrong customers coming in, all of these things. So before we opened another store, I took a look at that lesson and I said, how can I not repeat this? Well, here's all the lessons from it. So failure is so critical to success, so critical. You need to fail to be successful. If you are lucky the first time out of the gate, it's probably luck. And that's where I think people can really fail hard, is they think that their early success is why it's all about me. I'm so successful. There's outside environment, there's macroeconomic forces. There's so many things that play into one. That's why they say, like the Warren Buffett, I'm a Buffetteer, right? Success happens over extreme long periods of time. And normally it's the same successes that have occurred many lifetimes before. If you study that, study what was successful in the 20s and the 40s and the 60s and the 80s, mimic that, you're probably going to be successful today.
Yeah, I agree. And something that I've also learned is, if someone does have just, boatloads of luck to begin with, and it's very successful, and they end up, through acquisition or selling the company, they go to the next venture and they learn that it wasn't just luck, that there's a lot more to it. So, I think there are ongoing lessons. I've been doing this a long time, and there's still lessons that we learn. I think the day we stop learning is the day we have to be very, very concerned about that. Explaining everything that you just did, one thing that dawned on me is awareness is such a key factor in a new product location, a new product launch, and how you create that awareness. Have you reverse engineered and even talked about internally how awareness and maybe the low awareness early on may have impacted some of either the shoe line or, the Las Vegas location?
Absolutely. What we figured out is with that stack of distribution that we talked about, how we've built out the brand, it's all iterative in the growth of the company.
Right.
And that's why that unified commerce approach is so critical to success.
It
so
is.
The direct consumer only brand, especially consumer facing, the direct part's okay. They're struggling. They're really struggling, Lori. And what I did, when I look back and I thought about the basis of success for Hammitt, what I found out is I could just copy those fashion houses that have been successful for many decades, some even centuries. If I could just look at what they're doing, I have a great chance of long-term success. Now, in the last 5 years, whoa, the boat's been pushed right and left and the winds have blown you back. And then all of a sudden they're behind you and you're like, I am on fire. Anybody that leaned too far forward into either the difficulties or the massive amount of success that was happening in the moment, most of them right now are really struggling. Really struggling. So my key was to just say, whoa, hold on, Tony. What's always worked before and what's going to always work afterwards? And don't get too excited about the short-term success. I mean, we're doubling in revenue. When we did our pod in 18, we're 4 times bigger right now.
Yeah.
Since
Congratulations.
But I also learned, Lori, and everyone listening, size doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's profits.
It is profits. It is profits.
Again, fail forward. I will openly say on this pod, I got so focused on success with revenue that I lost my way a little bit and said, wait a second, profits can come later. Everybody is telling me it's about growth. Thank goodness I adjusted a year ago. And I said, listen, no. Let's get back to the basics here, so that we came into this year, again, with the winds at our back, profitable, and we're ready to scale. So we're ready to go. But I got caught up in it too. Every founder, I think, could easily.
Well, and because growth is what we're hungry for, and it is what actually, it's like, it is. And, you're talking about the last several years. How did COVID affect the brand?
It was interesting because when it first hit, which is 3 years ago, roughly right now, we just made those long-term choices, right? We're going to need our people. How can we make sure we keep our people? So we adjusted other expenses, including executives' pay. And we said to our core team, we need you here. We want you here. Okay. We made a safe environment from them. We actually made it in office. So not only were they kept on board, but they were kept together as a group, so that as a fashion brand, that group is so important. And then what we did is we just said, let's wait it out and let's see what's going to happen by summer. And as you know, by summer, with all the government help and ERC, things started to move along. And then we just focused on executing around the basics. And really, that's how we grew. Yeah. And what else did it teach me? It taught me that whatever is the current narrative, try to not get caught up in it, whatever it is. So everything's going to be direct consumer forever. I never believed it. We maintained those long-term relationships we had with our wholesaling partners all the way through. And now here we are today. Physical retail, it's back. No, it's not back. It never went away.
Right.
Bad retail went away during COVID. Great retailers, they thrived.
They stood the test of time.
Right. And our partners are great. And our stores, now that we have 3, are doing great. So the biggest thing on COVID was the short-term narrative is not what you want to focus on if you're building something over the long term. Remember the basics of what work.
Something else that you and I talked about in our pre-show was that you wanted your team at the office. You did not allow remote working. You went against the grain with that, completely against the grain. Talk to us about how that has really helped the brand grow by putting, digging your heels in and saying no.
Well, I'm a tech guy. So I've operated remote myself. I work from the road. I work from my mobile phone. And I understood that was not as good as being in person.
Right.
So when I heard this new narrative that no one go back to the office, I was like, it doesn't make sense to me, not just for Hammitt, but for any brand, because human nature is we revert back to what we know and love. Right. And if everybody wanted to work from home, they would have done it way before COVID. It wasn't that they weren't allowed. There's plenty of opportunities. There's outsourcing has been happening for 30 years, Lori, right? Global outsourcing, right? But why was Apple, Google, and all them building massive offices around the country? And why are they still bringing people back to them? Because they know bringing people together, pixie dust happens. It just falls into the room.
You're more creative. You get more done.
And you're happier.
Yeah.
You're just happier. So happiness drove that decision, not for myself, but for my team. And the other most important part is we have really a younger organization. So I went back to my youth and I said to myself, if I was sitting at a computer, would I be here today? Would I have the mentors that I have? Would I have all the lessons? Would my career be where it was? And I took a moment and said, no way.
Right.
Everybody, they need to get together to grow, to learn, so that they can become great managers, amazing leaders, entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs. And all of that happens together in an office space. Even though we're on Zoom, like you said, this isn't as great as when we were together. NetSuite 2018. So.
Yeah, it's so wise. It really is. And I give you so much credit for going against the grain and taking the bull, by the horns and saying, no, this is how we're going to operate. I wish that more people, including myself, would have done that. I really do. So here we are, 2023. We're 5 years after our first interview, 2018, and you have scaled. You're 4 times larger. But deciding how to scale, there's so many different considerations. Take us back to the war room, if you will, to those conversations that you're having about knowing that you're going to need some capital to make it to the next level. You were self-funded for a very, very long time. Talk us through that.
Well, to give you our capital structure, right? Yeah, we bootstrapped it up for the majority of the first 10 years. We had a small minority investor, private equity, a little over 5 years ago. And we learned from that. We have a formalized board structure. And then we were looking at doing a second round, but I thought, you know what, with a raving fan base, why don't we crowdfund this?
I love it.
We started a crowdfunding round 2 years ago. We closed it last year, and that brought us hundreds and hundreds of raving fans that own stock in the company. And then I said, before we go off for our next big round, we need to build our executive team. So not only our longtime CEO, Andrew Forbes, who's originally from Jimmy Choo and other great companies.
I love Jimmy Choo too. Sorry to use that term, but he's great.
We like it. Hey, I love great brands.
I've got a great pair of his shoes. Okay.
Oh, you might have them when Andrew is around. So we've added a amazing CFO last year with plenty of experience. He actually originally was in private equity, Ryan. And then we built a team around him, a controller, VP of ecom.
Great.
So now we have the top level team, because Lori, if you're gonna raise the great money that's gonna let you scale, right? They're really investing in the team, right? And it has to be a well built out team that's successful. So now we have that. And so we're ready to go out probably next year, because luckily we're profitable, and raise that additional equity to allow us to really, really scale faster. And what I've learned over time is it's not when I feel it's the right time, even though it's what most founders, it's when it's the right time.
Right.
And the right time is timing. It's your team. It's the position you are in the market. It's how profitable, what your margins are, and all of the numbers. But most importantly, it's when all of those merge together. That's when it's the right time.
Yeah. What an exciting time period for you to realize that. I mean, so you started the business, you started out in design, you built an incredible design team. Now you have an incredible executive team. Do you just ever pinch yourself and say, look at what we've done? This is, I mean, it's truly so much hard work has gone into it, but it takes great leadership to let things go, to relinquish what you have done and trust that someone else can get it done for you.
Well, I'm going to do it right now. It's good. It was good.
I love it.
The chief cheerleader is the role I took because I try to celebrate every day and find something to celebrate. So we're not there, Lori.
Yeah.
We're not even close to where I want to go. It doesn't mean I'm not satisfied.
But that's the drive
but
that
the
you have.
Dissatisfaction is the drive, right? I know that nobody out there knows Hammitt unless they carry one or they're selling them. And that to me is nothing but opportunity. Okay, nothing but opportunity. When we get to the tipping point moment, the Malcolm Gladwell, then I'm going to probably pinch myself all over. I'm going to call you up, be like, Glory, remember in that pod? Okay, there's a point that's what we're looking for. And it's not for financial gain, right? It's because I know that there's an opportunity in America to bring the luxury back to handbags, the true luxury. So people don't have to default to the European fashion houses, right? We want people to be carrying Hammitt every day and to be so proud of it that when they walk into a boutique in Breckenridge, they're like, this is Hammitt. You have to get one of these. And the French says yes.
Well, the US, we should be very, very proud of you. And we really should be. I know I am. And to have more entrepreneurial mindsets, more leaders taking that very, that drive to be US born and to really create the footprint here. I wish there were more of us. So congratulations on that. I think it's wonderful. I want to go back for a second. You mentioned crowdfunding, and I want to make sure that our audience understands the type of crowdfunding that you deployed, because it wasn't, at the best of my knowledge, it wasn't a typical platform. You went out to your community and talked about what you wanted to do.
Yeah, we went direct. They could go right on our website with the link, and they could invest in Hammitt. It's a legal process that we don't have to go to the details here. If you put crowdfunding in, you're going to find plenty of third-party people that can help you get there. And so what it was is we just felt that by throwing little events and bringing people together and inviting them to earn or to purchase stock in the company, that we could earn another level of trust, a financial trust. So it just all came together, but we layered on top a lot of entertainment. We even shot a television series around it. We really, when we do something, we go all the way.
Yeah.
And what's great now is we have a two-way conversation, not just with fans, but with super fans and investors that, again, they're singing our praises every day, and they get to share in our growth and our success over the years. I always said, what would you have done to be an original owner in Chanel? Right. In the Louis Vuitton. So it's not that we're going to be that, because there already is a Chanel, but we're definitely going to be Hammitt, and it's going to be something special over the years.
Yeah, it really is. And as you're, as we're having this discussion, and as we're really bringing the inside scoop to our audience, and they're learning how much I love your handbags. It's dawned on me that you have such a unique leadership position in the marketplace. And it's not just the product, it's Tony, it's you. It's the mindset behind the brand, building the team, the excitement, the energy. You took the lead on a lot of the crowdfunding. Your social media channels, everything is just so unique and different. If more CEOs thought like you, if more CEOs knew that they could do what you're doing, I mean, I think that we'd see more profit, in the market. So congratulations on that. And, you've got an incredible team behind you. This excitement that you have, one thing that my father said to me very early on in my career was, the day that you stop loving what you do is the day you need to do something new. And luckily that has never happened to me. I love marketing so much. I love what I do so much. I mean, there are days that I don't enjoy it, but I love what I do. And that is just clear as day with you as well. You love what you do and it shows. And that excitement, that thought leadership has got to help build the brand.
You know what? It's a Rubik's Cube, right? I think about this, like, you ever use a Rubik's Cube, right? What I love, the passion that drives me every day is the fact that the Rubik's Cube, people got faster and faster, so like 10 seconds to win. But in fashion, the Rubik's Cube, the colors keep changing. So you get blue done, and then you're looking at the side, you're like, purple, there's no purple. And then you get it all done. You're like, wait a minute, magenta. So the point is, the challenge in fashion is so unique. If you love change, if you love constantly having to adapt, this industry is amazing. And then when you layer on top the cheerleading, the positivity, the fun that we focus on, all industries have, I guess, their challenges, and they also have that negative energy around it, all of them.
Yeah.
When I entered the fashion industry, I got to tell you, there was a lot more of that than I realized. Behind the scenes, a lot of people that just were not enjoying it. And they were like, oh, great, great, great. And then they would like, ugh. No, it's legit. All the way through my bones, down to my feet right now. I love this industry. And I know that there's a possibility for Hammitt to bring joy to every person that we encounter. That's what my challenge to everyone out there is, you can just bring joy into every relationship a little bit more. If somebody leaves you being a little bit happier, to me, that's the gift. Whether they buy a Hammitt or not, whether they carry one, as long as it's associated with joy and positivity. Come on, over the last 3 years, that was really the winning formula for us, was to stay positive, to focus on the opportunities, and to really, really dig deep into that and not get involved in any negative energy, in anything that took us away from our mission. Right? That's internally on the team, and that's with our customers out there. It's just not an engagement that I ever wanted to do. So it keeps me happy. I love it.
Well, and it shows. I mean, the energy, the excitement is magnetic, and it really is. And people interact with you, and it's like, how can I not? How can I not?
Lord, give me a big hug.
We can't do it through the screen today, but I tell you what, a gift you are to so many people, Tony. Your team is amazing, absolutely amazing. Every time I order a Hammitt and it arrives in the mail, the packaging, around it, and just the excitement, you've done it 100%. You really have. And congratulations on your success. Congratulations on your vision. You truly are an innovator, a disruptor, and a visionary, all that combined in one package. And, 5 years from now, we're going to sit down and talk again. And maybe by then you will have doubled again. I mean, that's a big double at that stage. That's, a 200-300% increase year over year.
Our goal is to be beyond that. And I think in the end, like, once you figure this business out, right? And like I said, I think today, 15 years in, I feel very confident in the scale. Why? Because every piece of the business is working, from the technology stack to the product and everything in between with the team. So really now it's not about percentage growth. It's about the number of people that can find, discover Hammitt and share it with others. And we're very confident that we've at least figured out the formula to share what Hammitt will bring to them. Now, let's face it, who doesn't want the most environmental handbag in the world? There's nothing more environmental, and there's nothing more environmental, than making a product once that literally lasts 100 years, passed down from generation to generation, right? Our product, it doesn't end up in a landfill. It ends up on your daughter or your granddaughter.
And it will.
That's the message of Hammitt, right? I mean, in this disposable world out there, in all categories, including fashion, a brand that can bring that is really it's a clear winner over time. And that's
it really is. And you're a winner. Your team's a winner. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. You truly are a gift, and we appreciate your appearance on the Integrate and Ignite podcast.
It's good to be back. I'll see you in 5 years. 5 years.
we may not have, we'll have to do it sooner than 5 years because you're going to have a lot to talk about. There's no doubt about it.
Whenever you want, Lori, you know that. Okay. Whenever you want. So thank you.
You're the best, Tony. Thank you so much. This is exciting.
Thanks a lot. Have a great one. Bye, everyone.
You. Bye. Bye, everyone who's listening there too.
This episode is complete. Head over to avocetcommunications.com for more ways to scale and grow your business. And be sure to tune in regularly for insights and motivation with host Lori Jones and her guests on the Integrate and Ignite Marketing Podcast.